Run over there, so my bad.
Let me tell you. You see, let me tell you why I love the universe, and I am a firm believer of the universe.
Okay.
Listen, I wanted to get on and talk to you for a very long time.
Is that right?
What do you rate me?
Is that what we're starting out with?
Yeah.
And on a scale from 1 to 10, you can't use 7. What would you rank yourself?
I always see people calling you, and you tell them, you ain't no such and such. You lying to yourself. You ain't this. So let's start it that way.
What have you seen in my content? Have you just seen like the clips?
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh wait. Now we can talk this way. Karen, you sit your ass down over there because I don't play that. And I mean, you're married now, right? Okay. Relationship is a skill set. It's different than dating in short term. We really want to talk that kind of stuff, and what successful people who are doing good in their professional life want to fail in their personal life. And in the Black community in particular, when we fail in our personal lives, we pay a huge penalty because so few of us get married. It's almost like we like to see people's marriages fall, but we need more of those things in order to build whatever we're going to be, because people may not like my method, but I want to see more Black men who want Black wives get. What's starting to happen more is actually we're starting to have more conversations about this. It ain't comfortable, but we're starting to see progress.
Well, let me ask you this just outright then. Mm-hmm. Why do successful Black men date outside of business?
More often than not, Black men want to be with Black women. We do marry 85% of Black men are married to Black women. Black women. And that's the outcome we're getting. It ain't pretty. Sometimes it ain't pretty.
Can I say something real quick? Black women, can we stop talking about if these niggas want us or not? Like, can we just focus on us and we be successful, and then we go out there and we decide who the fuck we want? How many times should a man expect to have sex? What is, in your opinion, how many times should a woman give their man sex a week?
A week?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of the as often as he wants it. Bernie Mac said, I'm gonna come home and give you 50 strokes. You count them if you ain't got time. Most dudes trying to walk around like they porn stars. Look here, man. Get good at foreplay, eat some pussy, and you get on. Because we don't have all that time. Shampoo dream. There's a lot that men don't understand about sexuality. Most guys, you ask them what the Kama Sutra is, they don't know what it is. They don't know anything about tantric sex. They don't even know that. You couldn't even show them the anatomy of a vagina, and they can understand parts. Women's sexuality is so misunderstood by men. So a lot of guys make comments about women and not knowing, and they make decisions based on women. And I say ultimately this: if you ain't getting married, what the fuck you care about a woman's body count? You ain't gonna take ownership of it. And if it's yours, you need to learn what to do. If you're gonna just out here hooking up, you need to be. I would assume you would want to have a good sexual reputation. You want to be a dead lady or a weak fuck.
good to be back. There was a lot going on today, people. A lot, but it is good to be black. As you guys catch that? It's good to be black and back, because I know some of y'all, some sisters in the building after our last live stream. Okay, listen. Don't look at me a certain type of way. Okay, y'all know what the hell y'all was supporting. Okay, y'all some racists. But anyways, yes, I am also back in my great value uniform, because today we are going to be talking about yours truly, Kevin Samuels. Yes. Absolutely. We're going to be talking about Kevin Samuels, fellas. And for those of you guys who don't know, Kevin Samuels was recently on Nicki Minaj's show. Yes. All right. It was Nicki Minaj's show. All right, people. So I've seen a couple of people, around the, YouTube space are running around. Oh, he jumped on Kevin Samuels' live stream. Oh, Kevin Samuels, this is it. We're here. Listen. Although this does not take away from the fact that he is now validated mainstream. I mean, even in the interview, you clearly hear Nicki saying she's always wanted to get on and talk to him. All right, so maybe it's been a timing issue, may have been something else. But at some point, that conversation at least, or their path we're going to cross at some point. But it was not Kevin Samuels streams. If anything, Kevin Samuels went on to Nicki Minaj's live stream, and they had a pretty interesting conversation that went down. And we're gonna go ahead and break all of that down and more. All right, because there's a lot of noise right now in this space of what this might mean. A lot of certainly some ladies on the other side of the fence who are leaning in one direction on what this means, and then some guys on the other side of the fence who are also leaning in another direction on what this conversation means. All right, so we're gonna break all of that down and more, because I think there was a lot of things to cover. It was pretty important that I think if we don't have a balanced platform, okay, to actually break these things down, people can run off into their own little echo chambers and make certain things kind of sound and come off the way they don't actually really seem. So, guys, welcome. Let me go ahead and welcome some of you guys in the chat real quick. Primal Nixon Talk, nice to meet you. Talk Quan to me. Harmony Pill, shout out to you. Vega, I see how y'all doing. And yes, he did reach out to her. It was her live stream. We covered that. So those of you guys who are going out there and saying, oh, she came over to Kevin Samuels, no, it wasn't like that. Kevin Samuels went over to her. Whether it was a business decision or whatever it is, that's what went down. All right. And for those of y'all ladies over here who are trying to make such a big deal about that, and I'm talking about some of you Cynthia G stands over there. Yep, in the building. Listen. So what? What? So he's not supposed to go out and collab or try to collab with other celebrities, right? That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, let's get past that. It was her stream. He went on and she admitted that she only wanted to talk to him. It is what it is. But what this does signify is something that I want to go ahead and break down, because I believe, people, yes, I believe that if played correctly, all right, if Kevin Samuels plays his cards correctly, I do believe there's a certain lane that he can carve out and win within the mainstream. And guys, by the end of this stream, first of all, y'all got to get the likes up. All right, y'all will hear it here first on the strategy that Kevin Samuels, if he wants to be successful mainstream, all right, the type of show he needs to craft, okay, y'all need to get the lights up, because I will let you guys know that by the end of this stream, okay? So within this particular breakdown, there was a couple things that I want to cover, because we're not going to go over the entire live stream, right? Because I think it's just, plenty of you guys already seen it. So we're just going to break down certain points that I found very, very interesting. So let me go ahead and share the screen over here. You guys pay attention real quick. All right, here we go. So right off the bat, man, a lot of people were expecting different things, all right? So a lot of people, first of all, on both sides of the fence, which clearly exposes how toxic we all are right now, we're expecting these two guys to kind of go at it, right? So on one hand of the fence, we had ladies who were followers of Nicki Minaj, or women in the space who are not a big fan of Kevin Samuels, right? Who were expecting Nicki Minaj to basically go at Kevin Samuels, pretty much go at his throat, because we already know like what Nicki Minaj is on. She's ready to clap back at just about anybody, right? So that's what pretty much the other side of the fence, that's what they were expecting with Nicki Minaj. Is she gonna basically, you know, hit Kevin Samuels? If Kevin Samuels were to slip up, like what is the play here? What is gonna happen, right? No one really knows, all right? And then on the other side of the fence, a lot of the guys were like, hey, okay, Kevin Samuels, listen, you fucked up with Brittany Renner, all right? You could have gave it a jab, you could have gave it a right hook, you could have done something, but okay, now you got Nicki Minaj, all right? Nicki Minaj, this is your chance, all right? Show what you got. And let me tell y'all this. I'm sorry for most of y'all that were disappointed if you guys won the war, because even they themselves said it themselves. Listen, she admitted that. Like some of y'all who were DMing her, trying to get her to go ahead and try to, you know, come at him hard or come at him certain kind of way, it's just not going to work, all right? They actually want to have a valuable conversation, in which they did, all right? Now, the real question is, was anything learned out of it? And that is yet to be seen. And we will cover that too, because I think there's a lot of things that we really need to unpack here. So first things first, they kind of get into the whole, and we'll skip around here, but let's go ahead and get started. Kind of get into the whole rating thing. And a lot of people right off the bat were already kind of pissed off at Kevin Samuels for this. A lot of people were already pissed off at Kevin Samuels based off this rating, and we'll play this and go over, was he in the right for his assessment or was he in the wrong for his assessment? Let's go ahead and take a look.
I'm old. We might need to get 911 over there. So.
Let me tell you. You see, let me tell you why I love the universe, and I am a firm believer of the universe.
Okay.
Listen, I wanted to get on and talk to you for a very long time.
There you go.
Right.
That's very right.
What we got?
So I want to know what you gotta, you know, let's have this real talk. Let's have this real talk. Because I know a lot of times when people will speak to you, it's like they trying to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if you call somebody trying to be funny, yes, I feel if you call somebody trying to be funny, then don't be mad at what you get. If you call somebody that, you know, and you're really trying to, you know, sincerely ask questions or get information.
So I want to kind of pause it right there, because because here's the thing, a lot of women, here's the thing what we're going to break down, all right? Because this right here, I love this interview for so many different reasons, but here's the main thing I want to break down, because Nicki right off the bat, she's basically saying, because she watches his show, and she knows that some of the women on the show, when they come on and try to deal with Kevin Samuels, a lot of them come on with intentions, right? A lot of them come up with intentions. And you guys can't say, hey, ladies, y'all can't say shit, because she's letting y'all know that right now. Nick, I'll run that shit back. We'll run it back, and y'all, we can play it. She knows that certain women, when they go on Kevin Samuels' show, they on some funny games. They know that. They already know they on that. So when y'all come at Kevin Samuels, and this is just being real, we're just being fair for a second, all right? When certain women come at Kevin Samuels, right, about his tone and his mannerisms and all these different things, and when he's letting y'all know he's redirecting the same energy the women are giving to him, this is what they're talking about, because some of the women like to pretend, oh, no, hey, no, come on now, she was doing this, she was nice, she was this, right? But here's the thing, like guys like Kevin Samuels, and even guys like myself, like we understand, especially when we've been around sales for too damn long, all right? We understand subtext, we understand subtlety, we understand when people are acting in indirect manners, all right? We understand the art of subtlety because we read a body language and we understand social cues. So when women come on there's certain things that they display that are underhanded that Kevin Samuels can pick up that can feel as a slight diss and can elevate the aggression or escalate the next, and I won't say aggression, but escalate the next tier of the whatever shit that they escalate to, right? So women deliver that energy, and Nicki Minaj is calling that out, because a lot of times y'all be on some funny business when you get on the show. Now, that was not what we saw on this interview whatsoever. But one thing I wanted to crucially point out is that what she is saying is true. And a lot of y'all ladies know it. Y'all know when other ladies are playing games. Let's just be real. Y'all know when y'all playing games. Let's be real. Come on, ladies. Come on. Come on. And if we know it's not all of y'all, but all of y'all, because y'all been around each other so much, you know when your sis playing games. You know when she on there with an agenda. You know. So Nikki's pointing that out. And to be fair, we're going to point that out too. So let's go ahead and continue.
Or chat, then that's different. So I want to talk to you.
Okay. What are we talking about?
Well, what do you rate me?
Is that what do you think the men rate women?
No, I thought, because isn't that what you do?
What have you seen of my content? Have you just seen like the clips?
Yeah. I think I always see people calling you and you tell them, you ain't no such and such. You lying to yourself. You ain't this.
What I typically don't do is I don't typically rank people. I ask if they rank themselves. I usually ask these questions.
So let's start it that way.
Yeah. How tall are you?
I'm 5'3".
Dress size?
My dress size?
Mm-hmm.
Fender Don said that. My dress size? That's a good question. I guess a 4.
All right. And on a scale from 1 to 10, you can't use 7. What would you rank yourself? Fresh face out of the shower, just you.
Yeah.
That's how I always ask the question.
7.
Can't use 7. That's why 7 is the most common answer.
Really?
It's the default answer for most people because they don't want to go too high, they don't want to go too low.
Well, no, it ain't a default answer for me.
Well, let's see. I'll give you a 9. I will give you 9 because
let's let's put a pause right here because this set a lot of people's heads on fire. Listen, there were people on both sides of the fence. It's crazy to watch y'all arguments because it is hilarious how y'all think, right? Because y'all are some crazy nitpickers. But here's the thing. On one side of the fence, people are like, yo, Kevin, what you mean? What you mean she's a 9? What the fuck? What? Did you not know it's Nikki we talking about? It's Nikki. All right, she's all made up and done up with the BBLs and all that. And you said fresh face out of the shower, Kevin. Fresh face out of the shower. You giving her a 9? Are you sure you're accounting for the makeup, Kevin? Kevin, hold up, Kevin. Let me rub your eyes real quick. What you looking at, bruh? She's manufactured, right? I mean, at least that's what we're talking about in the manosphere space, right? So that's the other side of the fence. Right, and on the other side, right, on the women's side, because people are like, well, I don't know. I think you know, Kevin Samuels. I think you know, maybe he was he had to, right, because it's Nicki Minaj. All right, it's Nicki Minaj, and he's showing tact. He's showing being able to have the appeal, the being able to maneuver around these situations, right? You see these kind of other arguments being had as well on why Kevin Samuels decided to rate someone like Nicki Minaj a 9, you know, and why even Nicki Minaj thought of herself as a 7, right? And I want to even stop on there for a second because I think that's a very interesting point. For those guys who've been watching Kevin Samuels' show or have followed Kevin Samuels for a while now, and you know the kind of women that call in, well, what is the main thing they usually do when they rate themselves? Not really a 7 because he says you can't pick a 7, but typically they either rate themselves an 8, you know, or 9, and they're in that category, right? I mean, he rates some 8s or 9, so you know, not him. They rate themselves 8s or 9s, right? So what I find interesting is that when Kevin Samuels interjects, he's like, well, okay, you do think that you look better than Beyonce because Beyonce's a 9. I think he said that Beyonce was a 9. I'm not 100% sure, right? And then the woman was like, oh, well, if it's Beyonce, well, then I guess I'm a 6, right? So back and forth. But it was interesting. It was interesting to see how he would rate someone like Beyonce and Nicki Minaj in the same category. Where I mean, that that takes a whole lot of different thinking for me. Maybe we could get into that. I don't know, but it's very interesting. Just because I don't think if we're talking about natural beauty now. Now listen, maybe Beyonce may have had some work done. Who knows, right? I don't know, but the image I have of Beyonce, if you're gonna put her and Nicki Minaj in the same category, okay, she's more natural than Nicki is. I mean, with great value in this mug, all right? I'm just saying, all right? But one thing I want to dive into is how interesting that Nicki Minaj rated herself an actual 7, right? And if anything, she came in lower than most of these girls who used to previously call in when he did his rating shows. They would rate themselves, he would what do you call it? They would rate themselves higher than that, right? Versus Nicki Minaj coming in lower. So I don't know. Is that something like a self-esteem issue or what was self-conscious issue? Was she trying to be modest, right? Versus all the other women who are considered average, right? Who are coming in? Do average women really think highly of themselves than celebrity women? Is basically what I'm trying to get at. All right. For those of you guys who can understand what I'm trying to get at, that's what I'm trying to get at. We see a celebrity here who's clearly glamorized. She's got all the attention on her, and clearly she is beautiful, right? And dates some of these high value, great value men, but still thinks that she's a 7 versus average women who call into Kevin Samuel's show who rate themselves above that. So I found that point very, very interesting. You guys in the chat, you let me know what you think about that. Or do average women have a higher sense of I would say ego than most famous women out there, or do I have this thing backed up? Just a food for thought. Let's just continue there. But I thought it was very interesting.
You have the facial symmetry, and you get additional points for eyes, full lips. See, it's not. I'm an actual image consultant. And I'm sure you deal with a lot of people who take your pictures and stuff and so forth. You have a symmetrical face. And so it's much more based upon facial symmetry. It's not based on European beauty standards or anything like that. It's much more based upon what babies, animals, human beings have evolved to find attractive.
Wow.
You get additional points because we've evolved to find more slanted eyes, somewhat attractive, especially when they're not on Asian.
All right. Listen, man, I don't know anything about Fibonacci's and facial symmetries and anything like that. Listen, I like what I like. All right. Y'all ever heard of a butterface? hey, fellas, if y'all ever heard of a butterface, you go ahead and let me know if facial symmetries and eyes and all that shit matters. Because I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to look all past all that if she got them cakes. I'm going to tell you that right now. If she got herself some good entitlements, a great attitude, and all these other qualities that I like in a woman, all right, that's attractive to me. I'm not looking at your face and thinking about freaking math equations and shit. Maybe I'm wrong. Hold on, we got to get great value in this motherfucker real quick. All right, time out. Listen, I think the age-old saying, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. I think that does make sense because, listen, man, I've seen some strange attractions, and I mean, if you're talking about what men find beautiful, I understand I can see where he's coming from, where guys may look at symmetries and things like that, but I never really, and maybe I'm wrong, guys. Maybe I'm wrong. I never really thought about beauty in that way, where, she's got a perfect, symmetrical face. That's interesting. If anything else, I think that'll freak me out, right? I like faces with a little bit of imperfections, right? Because I look at my face, my shit's not fucking, symmetry and shit. I got a loppy peanut head, there's a lot of little imperfections there. And I think that when we're talking about, beauty, I think it's the imperfections that kind of put the cherry on top, if anything, for me, right? So I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong. But that's a point that kind of lost me there with when you start going to different equations, because I get what vibes I get. The vibes I get is Royal Tomasi vibes. It's not in the sense of like writing articles or anything like that. It's more in the sense of I'm trying to put together something or a line of a code or structure that people, and I'm saying people should abide by, but you know for a fact motherfuckers in the space are gonna start replicating the music. So I don't know. All I know is if I see more young motherfuckers out here talking about facial symmetries and that's the standard of beauties, you best believe I'm gonna make a video about you and have you explain where the fuck you got that shit, because I want to know. All right, so let's continue.
Wow.
But that's not what gets translated. Most of the time, people take my clips and cut it down to something that's gonna make a viral moment. It's gonna start a conversation. Take the good with the bad. Have you seen anything else that I do?
I saw one time when you checked this lady for, I guess it was a white lady or a Hispanic lady, and you was like, oh, you're not gonna come on this show and talk down on Black women. That's what the fuck you're not gonna do. Yeah. And so again, that was the clip. I didn't see the context really, but
well, I get a rap of hating Black women. And it's far from that. I mean, there are over 50 Black women who report that they've gotten married as a result of watching my content.
Really?
It's on my Instagram. I actually had a young sister just post up saying, hey, as a result of you, I snatched the ring. I just actually posted a brother who was about to move to the Dominican Republic, and he found his wife in my Facebook group. Like 12 couples have gotten married in there. But that stuff doesn't get publicized. But when I'm talking about relationships, I'm talking about men and women, but because I'm Black, I'm talking about us. And from time to time, I would bring stuff in, and then a lot of times sisters would say, well, men, when they get to a certain level, they only want white women or this or that. So I let women from other races come in. I'm like, okay, well, can you learn anything from them? What would you teach them? And the one woman came in, and she thought she was going to do what I did to Black women. Like, hold on, oh, wait. Now, we can talk this way. Carrie, you sit your ass down over there. Because I don't play that. I wouldn't let, despite popular opinion, I love my mother, I love my daughter, but we do have to have a family conversation.
I'm gonna just say this. Although he's right and he has put white women in his place, and I think I don't know if I publicly criticize him. I may have privately criticized him on this, but I criticize him on that because it's like, are you purposely putting this woman in her place because you're trying to appease Black women? Because if that's the case, then we got a problem. Because I'm gonna tell you this: I can tell you a few female-led podcasts, platforms that willingly have white people that have come on their platform as Black women and literally let that white man shit all over their Black men, and all the Black women are clapping, cheering. Meanwhile, if Kevin Samuels had a white woman on his platform saying the exact same shit some of these dudes that these women support back here, oh, I'm gonna call y'all motherfuckers out. It's not over. It's not over. We digging, baby. We digging. If he would have had a white woman say the exact same thing, you know what would have happened? Canceled instantly. They would have got rid of him. They would have got rid of him like that. So I'm just saying, as we're doing this, let's pay attention to the double standards here.
And it's what's starting to happen more is actually we're starting to have more conversations about this. It ain't comfortable, but we're starting to see progress.
Well, let me ask you this just outright then. Why do successful Black men date outside of their race?
Well, I would say this. When I look at men, I split them up. Guys that I consider to be in the industry, music, entertainment, athletics, and the guys on the business side. Okay. Business side, because I come from that side. But more often than not, Black men want to be with Black women. 85% of Black men are married to Black women.
Oh.
When I had my guys come to me, even after they got themselves together, like Dennis Furling, the guy who just moved, he found his Black wife in my group. Black men want to be with them. The problem is, let's be honest, in my lifetime, we weren't really raised to learn how to get along with one another. We can kick it, we can hook up, but can we work together long term? And you're married now, right? Okay, relationship is a skill set. It's different than dating in short term. We really want to talk that kind of stuff. And what successful people who are doing good in their professional life want to fail in their personal life. And in the Black community in particular, when we fail in our personal lives, we pay a huge penalty because so few of us get married. It's almost like we like to see people's marriages fall, but we need more of those things in order to build whatever we're going to be, because people may not like my method, but I want to see more Black men who want Black wives get with Black women. And that's the outcome we're getting. It ain't pretty. Sometimes it ain't pretty.
Can I say something real quick? Black women, can we stop talking about if these niggas want us or not? I mean, this is not.
You know what? I think the more conversations that we have, the more let this go on. I think Nikki, she's calling out a few things, right? And when we're talking about and what she's about to go into, I want a few of you ladies on YouTube to pay attention, all right? Not y'all over here in the chat. I'm talking about some of y'all crazy ones that think racist dudes coming on here and shitting on black men is okay, it's cool, everything is great. I'm talking to y'all. Y'all need to pay attention because this next segment is about y'all. Like, the main ones complaining about where black men are going are black women on TikTok and social media. These toxic ones over here, all right? Not saying that doesn't exist in the manosphere, but let's be real. The manosphere is not even mainstream yet, all right? To the extent. Like Kevin Samuels, what he's doing right now is getting on its way, and the whole conversation now it's being heard, it's being had, right? But ultimately, it's mainly some of these ladies who are frustrated on the internet that are out here talking about this stuff. Oh, this is why men are this. All men ain't this. All men are that. We've seen it. We've all seen it. So she's calling this shit out right now because she knows it. Just like she was calling out the truth about black women, and when they call into the show, some of them be on some funny business. Not all of them. And we see countless examples of black women that go on Kevin Samuel shows and they actually have a fruitful conversations. Then we see some of them that come in with agendas, and we see how that plays out. Like I said, he's a people. All right. So he understands when somebody's on some funny shit. Right. So he gets that. Nikki gets that. So she's dropping some more shit there. Now, I don't know if she has much of opinion on what's going on here, and I hope she elaborates a little bit more on what her thought process is. But she's more or less just kind of questioning Kevin Samuels back and forth. But let's go ahead and see what her opinion is on women on social media complaining about their men.
I'm talking to black women real quick. Can we stop posting all day on TikTok? Because I newly went to TikTok and I just kept seeing this. Mm-hmm. Black women, can we stop talking about if these successful black men want us or not? Mm-hmm. Like, can we just focus on us and we be successful, and then we go out there and we decide who the fuck we want? Because what I've been seeing is, I feel like I've been seeing men using that as an opportunity because they've been hurt. And somebody done and they've been using it as a way to come out and lash out and poke fun at black women and use it as a way to feel like.
Listen, brand new respect for Nikki. I can't believe I'm saying this in 2022. If somebody would have came to me in 2022 and said, "Hey, Duke, watch, you're gonna be giving Nicki Minaj credit for being an adult," I wouldn't believe it. If somebody came to me and said, I will be giving Nicki Minaj credit right now, I don't know what else to tell you. I wouldn't believe it myself. But she's right. She's right. This is what I talk about in this space too as well. A lot of times when we sit here and complain about women is because this is where it's coming from, right? A lot of women on TikTok, they're giving dudes the fuel to basically talk about this stuff, right? Especially these manosphere dudes who are butthurt. She does have a point. Guys, you want to deny it all you want. You can't. Because the shit I rail against all the time. When we talk about women and the little mishaps and shit that they're doing on TikTok and all these TikTok, think about it. All these reaction videos on about women on TikToks in the manosphere. Y'all can sit here and tell me it's not happening. We've done a couple over here to myself because it does get ridiculous. But there are people who build their entire platform or podcast off of just reacting to a modern women or black women on TikTok and making fucking money and views off of it. Why? Because women who aren't smart enough to understand that you are just giving these guys fuel to basically keep talking about you. And not only that, even worse, a lot of them are using that to basically stay in the same state and not grow. So she's right, but she's coming into the other side, because when I talk about this, I'm talking about it from the guy's perspective, but she's dropping it from the women's perspective. Y'all need to stop posting this shit because you are giving guys more reasons to talk about you. And I hate that shit, because the more guys in this space talk about y'all, the more they talk about women, black women, all this different stuff, the more power they're giving to y'all that they should be putting in themselves. And the more power y'all, if you guys are keep posting all this nonsense, you're giving to them. Instead of y'all should be putting in yourself and finding your own agency. This is what we've been talking about. And this is the type of conversation that we need to be having. I'm glad this went on. This is what we need to be talking about. This part of the conversation right here in which that Nicki Minaj is bringing the other side unapologetically. And this is a mainstream black woman or Afro-Latina, what some of y'all purists out there like to call it, right? It's a mainstream woman. All right, so she's mainstream in the black female culture, and she's letting y'all know the business. She's letting y'all know the games. She's letting y'all know the more y'all post this dumb shit, all this dumb post acting stupid, guess what? These butthurt dudes in these spaces, right, are gonna use that as fuel to basically perpetuate pain. This is what this is. So I'm glad that a lot. Listen, man, 2022 for self-awareness. I'm glad this shit's going. I'm glad that this shit is starting to get to a point where people are starting to pay attention. Let's go ahead and continue.
Like they somebody or they something, or so for all you niggas that's doing that on TikTok, wherever the fuck y'all at, eat a dick, go away. Nobody gives a shit about you. And I want black women to stop fucking posting about whether or not y'all want black women or not. Okay? Well, I want black women just to focus on themselves, be successful, and then you go out there and you decide the trajectory of your life. Okay?
Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of hurt on both sides, and especially in the black community, we don't really do a lot with counseling, therapy. I recommend therapy often because we got a lot of stuff individually that we want to deal with. And marriage and relationships are not for everybody. And I'm just ultimately I ask people, what do you want? What do you want? And what are you prepared to do to get what you want? And are you willing to pay that cost? It's really the conversation, but it always gets kind of whittled down. But at the end of the day, what we are seeing is, especially if you're under 30, it's harder for guys today under 30 than it was from 50 years ago because you can't take care of a family going out of high school or just coming out. So they're at the bottom.
We have to stop this. Like this whole nonsense. It's harder for guys to date younger and all that. We have to stop this. We have to. We need to. Like this is not true. This is not true, and I'm not. It's not saying that Kevin Samuel is wrong. I think it's harder for guys because guys believe it's harder for them to date younger. I think it's because guys buy into the paradigm that it's harder for them to date younger, and the reason why, and he's about to allude to, is because they don't have enough money for a family. No, man, that's not true. That's not true. The reason why guys are finding it hard right now to date younger because a lot of dudes are awkward. A lot of dudes lack social skills. A lot of dudes didn't have fathers in the home coming up to teach them how to be a man. So when they go out to the real world, they get overlooked by women. It's not because they don't have money. Girls don't even look at money like that. We're taking care of a household. Like I don't think when we're saying stuff like that, this is where we miss the point. All right. When I keep saying we're in a new day and age, we're not going back to that box. Pandora's box has already been open. Everything's flying out. We're not flying back in. All right. Women are not going to be wanting to be sitting there. I mean, a lot of them they would say that, right? They want a man to take care of all these different things while being independent. But that's internet women. That's boss babe wannabes. The vast majority of average women, what they want is, hey, listen, I'd be cool making $35K a year if you're cool making about 75 and, you got benefits. Okay, cool. As long as you got benefits, let's make this shit work. That's literally it. And a lot of guys can do that. There are a lot of other people who can actually listen, man, I worked in banking. You know what I mean? Two-parent household now. You know what's funny? A lot of them were Asian and non-black, right? But a lot of two-parent household that I did portfolios for, a lot of them, man, they were making average incomes. One was 75, the other one was 35. Or sometimes every once in a while you get one was 75, the other one was 200,000. Either way, these were two working professionals. They had a family and they made it work. They started from nothing. Met each other at work. And I'm talking about a particular couple. When we start feeding these ideas in the young men that you need to be able to provide or have enough money to provide to some people, you need to be able to do this in order for you to have the lifestyle that you need to have right now in terms of dealing with girls. It's the shit that makes more dudes resentful because a lot of dudes, they know right now that they ain't ready. And some of them, they don't even think they have it in them to go out in the world to take what's theirs. We can't perpetuate this. If you want to be successful with women, like Andrew Schultz said, you got to focus on fighting, you got to focus on talking, and you got to focus on fucking. You got to learn how to do those three things. And Kevin Samuels actually makes a point later up in the stream when he talks about how most of y'all dudes out there, y'all don't even know shit about a woman's pussy. Y'all talking about beating it. What the fuck does that even mean? A lot of y'all don't even know what that means. Y'all don't. I know, because some of y'all think y'all doing something. Your women be telling you, hey, listen, that nigga, he nothing, he's done. He's done. You don't even know how to, the exercises you need to do to learn how to hold your shit in right when you're about to do it and hold it, right? To make sure you go longer. All these different tips and tricks. Foreplay, the art of that, and most of you guys don't know shit. And the funny thing is, and this is why some of these girls think y'all so selfish, some of y'all dudes don't think you feel the need to learn that shit, but a bitch got to learn how to get head, right? You know what's funny? How girls learn how to give head really well, because a lot of them, they watch that shit, they study that shit, they learn that shit. Because a lot of girls, when they're with their men, with the men that they actually care about, they genuinely want to learn how to please them. They do. This is how that shit works. And if you don't know that, you haven't been around women. I'm sorry. Like all these dudes preaching this shit, and I'm not saying Kevin Samuels because he's around women a lot, but a lot of these dudes preaching this shit, y'all not around women. Because that's how that shit works. A lot of you dudes out there don't understand sex, and you're wondering why your woman is cheating or you can't keep her. Sometimes we just got to admit we don't have the skills to keep a woman. We may have the skills to attract her, and even then some of y'all complain, oh, well, I'm not 6 foot. I don't have the facial structures and symmetries. All right, I don't have the muscles, or I don't have the charisma, or acting like you can't do any of that shit for yourself. When people say things like this, that you have to have some kind of barrier in order to get what it is you want, they're letting you know where the limitation is at. Lie. And I'm not saying that's particularly Kevin Samuels, but he comes up in the old way. I'm letting y'all know what the new age is. Girls don't care about that shit no more. Like, that's just it. Like, women don't care about that shit. They'll say it, right? Oh, I want a man to take care of the bills and everything like that. But internally, what they feel, they don't want that shit. They don't. They find security in whatever it is that they're doing. And there's nothing else you can do about that. Pandora's out of the box. But we can't be saying this shit no more. It's confusing a lot of youngins. It really is.
And I just had men's week, and I told guys, look, while you're under 30, work on getting yourself together, because like it or not, you're really not in a position like you should be to be able to work with, lead, do anything like that. And you see the hate, not the hate, but the hurt on both sides, because a lot of times people will use these talking points to go at and poke women over here, but that's not what's going on right now. This year, we're past the sound. We still laugh. We still do all that stuff. We're talking about self-awareness. And moving the needle. I'm in LA tomorrow talking with a famous sexologist, a womanist feminist, to talk about things that that people on my side may not understand, to further open the conversation up. Because that's what we have to get to. We got to end up, for whoever want to be involved with whoever, we got to end up having a better conversation, because while we're separate, fighting, everybody else just eats off of us. That's really what it looks like. So,
okay, Kevin. Since we got to get down to the business chat.
Go ahead.
Now, do you think a man can have sex 3 times a night for the rest of his life?
Those guys can't.
They can't?
Not for the rest of his life, no.
Well, how many times they gonna be able to do it? How many times should a man expect to have?
Hang on. This is when we talk about tact, all right, and how the difference between Kevin Samuels and when we talk about mainstream versus guys like Fresh and Fit, all right, this is where these we have a point, right? When we talk about tact and how Kevin Samuels knows how to maneuver situations and certain setups, this is where he shines at, and this is where, if anything else, right, this is where I think DJ Academics was wrong. I myself was wrong. If I stated in the past that Kevin Samuels wasn't mainstream or Manosphere wasn't mainstream, well, we're looking at it now. I'm gonna eat my own hat. It is what it is, right? But here's the thing. You got to understand the tactics and how you're going to win at mainstream. And like I told you guys before, at the end of this, I'm going to let y'all know how Kevin Samuels can actually thrive and maintain his virality while he's mainstream. But I want y'all to pay attention to how Nikki asked this question, okay? She's about to ask a question, and you watch how she rephrases it to attempt to trap Kevin Samuels, or at least trip him up, right? Because, listen, this is how easily viral clips can be made. So pay close attention when she's talking about how often a woman or a man should give pleasure to a woman. Pay attention.
How many times should a man expect to have sex? What is, in your opinion, how many times should a woman give their man sex?
You saw how she rephrased that? Y'all saw that flip? How often should a man expect sex? How often should a woman be required to give her man sex? Right? So watch how Kevin Samuels answers it, because if you would have answered it the way she had framed it just now, with the woman being positioned in the position of having to give up something, which in the eyes of mainstream media, it looks bad. It looks horrible. Oh, shit. Like, oh, I'm a woman now. I'm expected to give my man X amount of sex every once in a while. So I want y'all to pay attention to see how Kevin Samuels maneuvers around this question. And this is something that you guys can actually start learning for yourself in terms of how to deal with people and social conversations and maneuvering. So pay attention to this.
A week.
A week?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of the as often as he wants it.
No, hold on.
Because here's the thing, it's under.
Now, that was an interesting answer, right? And she probably wasn't expecting that. And it threw her off, right? It threw her off because she was probably expecting, okay, maybe 3 times a week, 4 times a week, or, 5 times a week, right? And any one of those numbers, imagine, right? Imagine the headlines on the femosphere, right? Talking about, oh, Kevin Samuels says a woman's supposed to give her man sex 3 times a day or a week or 5 times a week. Right? And they would have spun that into something crazy, right? But the answer was as often as he wants it. So that also is a question that's up in the air and up to your interpretation, because as often as it wants it, it can be anywhere from 10 times a week, 20 times a week, or even 1 time a week. That's how that shit works. So this, when you're going into mainstream, this is the kind of tact and the social awareness, Myron Gaines, the conversational aptitude, Fresh Prince CEO, you need to have in order to not make the manosphere look like a bunch of children to mainstream media. This is what I'm talking about. So this is why someone like Kevin Samuels could and would have a future in mainstream versus someone like Fresh and Fit, because someone like Fresh and Fit can go on some platform like The Flagrant 2 and still double down on their idiocy, making us look like a bunch of pining 5-year-olds. Thank you, Rolo. I wrote a goddamn article on this bullshit, Tomasi. If there's one person that at least gonna repair or at least make us look somewhat civilized, then those 2 bozos made us look the last couple weeks, all right? I think that Kevin Samuels, in the way he performed here and how he performed with Brittany Renner, is going to be the next step. Now, for those of you guys who are standboys and are expecting Kevin Samuels to be as rude or as argumentative and as crazy as, that's not gonna happen, especially if he's pivoting mainstream. You guys can't be expecting that from him anymore. That shit's dead, all right? You can't be underground in the mainstream culture. You have to be able to dial it back. Kevin Samuels is going to be a pretty much, a suave version of Steve Harvey. Like, if Kevin Samuels can tailor his message to basically resemble a freaking, not a hardcore Steve Harvey, but a little mild, right? With a little spice in it, right? Throw a little spice in the tank, and that's Kevin Samuels right there. And he's going to have to do that. Why? Because he can't be as crazy as he is with women. If you notice how he doesn't do the whole rate women thing anymore, you know how that was a while ago. That shit was cut off and done, right? Even when Nikki called him out on it, he was like, I don't really even do that. That's not really part of my show, right? Because how does that look? How does that look? Horrible. Like, oh, look at this. This is black man telling other black women that they look ugly, right? And for a while, sisters made that a big talking point. Let's just be real. They made that a huge talking point, saying, oh, these women are coming up and calling themselves ugly, and he's doing that. But he kind of stepped away from that. Why? Because this is where he knew he was going to head to. So from those of you guys out there, they're expecting some kind of war, expecting this kind of back and forth. It's just not going to happen. These are the kind of conversations we're looking for. These are the kind of conversations we need. And he's going to have to be a little bit more mild. It is what it is. But what you guys can understand what the intentions are, that's all that freaking matters. But let's continue. No, hold on. Before we continue, first of all, get the goddamn likes up.
Oh, hell no.
Get my goddamn likes up right now, people. Let's go. We giving y'all a show. All right. So, listen. I want to ask y'all a question. And I want y'all to be really freaking honest. All right. How would Fresh and Fit had handled that question that Nicki Minaj would have asked Kevin Samuels, right? Do you think that Fresh and Fit would have handled that question properly when Nicki Minaj asked them, hey, how often should a woman expect to give her man sex every week, right? How do you think Fresh and Fit would have answered that question? Put a 1 in the chat if you think that they would have completely folded and like bombed on it, right? They would have answered in a way that would have made us look bad. Or put a 2 in the chat if you think he would have answered just like Kevin Samuels. I'll wait. How would Fresh and Fit handle that question Nikki asked? Would it be 1, would they completely fold and break on that question? Or 2, would they handle it just like Kevin Samuels? I say they would fold. I'd say I don't even think Myron would be able to come up with that kind of tact. I don't think so. I'm not going to influence this. I'm going to let y'all answer. They would have folded. They would have folded. I'm sorry, they would have folded. Myron, listen, I'm judging it based off of Kevin Samuels' history and the mainstream appeal he's had, right? He's done work with Tasha K, he's done work with Joe Budden, he's done work with Adam 22, he's done work with DJ Vlad. In all those, there were no controversies in any of them. All right, the 2 podcasts these 2 niggas were on, bro. I'm telling you, Brittany Renner and the Flagrant 2 at the start of 2022, it was already controversies everywhere. Like we couldn't stop. We were having a conversation 5 days into the new year if this podcast was gonna make it or not. That's how scary mainstream got when Fresh and Fit was holding the rope. Hey, y'all can't tell me I'm wrong because it got real scary for a second. The way all these people were talking, all right, and these academics came out with a fucking baton and Rollo Tomasi like, you fucking, how dare you call me a snake? That shit was funny. But listen, I don't think Fresh and Fit would have handled Nicki well. I really don't think so. So I think that if anything else, if we're talking about the manosphere, if we're talking about mainstream now, because let's just be real. And I listen, for those of you guys who are still stuck in your ways and you aren't willing to change, that's y'all. All right. But I have changed my mind. Okay. Listen, people change their minds all the fucking time. It just means that they're able to grow and learn and adapt. For those of you guys that want to stay in your own space, go back to Fresh and Fit, let them know Duke and Don sent you. But I changed my mind. I definitely think that the manosphere is going to have mainstream appeal. And this is the way that's going to happen. It's going to start, seeding in and bleeding into the mainstream appeal this way. And I think if we keep this style of image, right, in the forefront and we kind of push that ahead instead of the raunchy, grimy, fucking, a Jerry Springer type, Rollo Tomasi or Rollo Pill type shit, I think we'll be fine. But if we keep that Fresh and Fit appeal, that's the thing that's going to put that nail in the coffin. They're not meant for mainstream. They're gonna listen. No bones against Fresh and Fit. They're gonna make it if they stay subculture. If they stay subculture, they have the platform to clean house in this space because that's just what the space is. It's filled with a bunch of people who are not as mature. It is what it is, right? Versus mainstream, you feel with more people who are in the real world, who watch TV and pay attention. So these guys are just not gonna fit. All right, they're like the weird kids on the block, and you stare at them and say, "Oh, you do those strange antics. Maybe I'll watch you for entertainment, but oh no, I'm not bringing you into my classrooms." That's why you got to tell your audience to put the headphones in when you're talking to them. Like when you're, I mean, that's weird. Why they got to hide from you? It's so weird. So I definitely think that Fresh and Fit would have never, they would have never handled Nicki well. It was just now, it would have never been a good look. I mean, we saw what you did with Brittany Renner. That was decent, but it was not a good look.
Here's the thing. You look at, like I said, I look at guys, most guys I'm talking to are working 10, 12-hour days. Bernie Mac said, I'm going to come home and give you 50 strokes. You count them if you ain't got time. Most dudes trying to walk around like they porn stars. Look at, man, get good at foreplay, eat some pussy, and get on. Because we don't have all that time. You get old, our back hurt, our hips out.
Oh no.
When you get older, but I mean, I think a healthy sex life 2 to 3 times a week is what most people are doing because they got kids.
Yes, no, I understand.
But when you're single, no kids, whenever you want to.
Yeah. Well,
She's like, I don't know about that.
No, I understand because yes, things change when you have to be looking at your baby and a lot of I get it, I totally get it. But let me ask you something. Do men really want? Because I was having this discussion 2 days ago. Do men really want a woman to be all up under them, oh baby, hi, yeah, ooh, or do they just say they want that and when they want that, and when they get it, they be like, because I feel like me being mean is what, yeah.
The late great Patrice O'Neal said it the best. We want you around, but not around. He made a comedy bit where he said, we want you in the house, kind of like around the corner in the vent somewhere. We kind of want you to be like a cat. You call a cat's name, hey, babe. Okay, you there, cool. We just want to.
And you know what? This is another interesting point that I found interesting throughout the whole interview, right? And this, by the way, isn't the whole interview, y'all. We'll cover the whole interview too, by the way. All right, and it wasn't between them and Kevin Samuels, but it was the whole other side after Kevin Samuels, so we can get a real thought process on how Nikki really feels about the situation. But when she's asking about that, right? Do guys really want girls up onto them because she's been having this conversation with a friend and this is something they do? Well, a few things struck out to me, right? And one of those things is essentially that, hey, because we look up to, in this space, think about it, guys. We look up to famous people all the time, right? We look up to women. We use them as an example for certain points that we want to make in this manosphere space, right? We look at the rappers, and if we're trying to illustrate the difference between how they treat the women, because great value or not great value, right? And here's the thing. You have someone like Nicki Minaj, and she's saying that, hey, I have these type of conversations with my friend. Right? The same conversations that, all women are probably already having in private. You don't see these type of conversations online on social media, but they're having it in private. What does that tell you? A lot of women do have questions about how men really think, right? Even though it doesn't matter if you're famous, it doesn't matter if you're the average girl. These are the kind of questions that they're asking themselves because they themselves, even though women look up to boss babes like Nicki Minaj doesn't know what's going on 100% of the time. This is why conversations like these are important, because these famous people that we look up to, they act like their lives are so goddamn perfect that everything's all shiny and rainbow, and no matter what happens in my breakups or get-togethers or whatever it is, I'm going to be all right. It turns out that, no, you're genuinely having these conversations because you're confused. A lot of women are. So if we can see, or at least have a situation where at least these famous women are actually in a position where they're vulnerable and they're talking about these real conversations like, hey, does a man really want me to be near him, underneath them? I want to know, because maybe I genuinely don't have the skills. Maybe I'm surrounded by friends that think like me, that say that I have to be mean, because that's what she said. She said, I feel like when I'm being mean, it gets the work across. No, you're just attracting guys who want that shit, who are attracted to that shit. Right. And to me, I think that's weakness. I don't want a girl who's mean. Like, why do I want a girl who's mean? Like, that's stupid. Right. But that's the kind of mentality a lot of these women have. We see that being replicated in even average women, where they walk around with the attitude because they feel like if they walk around in the attitude, guys like that shit. We don't like that shit. But that's why these conversations need to be had. So Kevin Samuels explains, well, listen, it's not that, we don't want you around. It's just like a cat, maybe we want you sitting in the other room or anything like that. And, even saying that kind of sounds cringe. just a smidge. All right. Just a smidge cringe. All right. Listen, if my woman, I would tell you this. If I'm in the house and I'm working on something, and I don't want her just sitting around there. And if she ain't got, look, if she's doing something, that's fine. That's in the house, that's cool. But if she wants to go out and do whatever it is she can go out and do it. I would much rather not have you in the house. Like, so I don't know if maybe some guys are like that, right? Where if your woman's not around, she's probably doing whatever. But it's like, to me, you got to be on go. Like, if you're not here, and that's assuming that she's not the mother of my kid. If she's the mother of my kid, that's a different story. Right. But, if she's not, and she's a girlfriend, it's like, I'm not gonna be at home, so what the hell you lounging about here? Get the fuck out. Like, move out. Let's do some stuff, right? So it's just having a girl in the corner. I think that's the old-timey way of thinking. Again, Kevin Samuels comes from an old traditional way, right? Where, the man's in the house and the woman's off in the corner doing something, but not bothering the rest of the house. And some women, maybe they like that, they love that. I don't know. I prefer if you're my girlfriend or something like that, we're not seriously dating. If I'm working, I mean, unless you got something real important to do here, I mean, it's time to go. Let's continue.
I know you were in touching distance. It's really all we because we really.
And I feel like I'm like a man. I feel like I'm, a lot of people throughout my life would tell me that I'm like a man, because I remember people would tell me I shouldn't expect as a woman to have a climax every time I do it, right? Like Hilton. And I said, excuse me, are you?
No, and you know what, Classy Ruby, you're right. I like this comment because that's part of the reason why I don't even want her in the house. Like, if I'm in, and first of all, I won't even be in the house a majority of the time. I'm not here. But yeah, like, there's got to be some element where if I'm here, I don't want to be able to see you. I want to be able to, try to figure out. I think men and women need at least some level of space. That's the thing, right? Because, and this is where Nikki's also wrong, and this is where Kevin Samuel has a point, right? A lot of women think that, the women got to be up under the guy, and, you got to give guys space. And some other women want their space too as well, right? If she's too damn clingy, that means, to me, that's a sign of something mental going on. Like, hey, like, you got abandonment issues. Like, why do you have to be around me at every single turn? I see that as a red flag. If a woman is too all up into me, you have nothing else going on but me, that's a problem. That's why when I see some of these manosphere dudes, they talking about, oh, well, listen, listen, if she's not chasing your validation, right? Well, oh, fuck, my roller book. If she's not chasing your validation, it don't matter. She has to be 100% chasing your validation. Why? I don't want her to like, yo, go do your own thing. Like, stop. Like, are you insecure? Like, you don't have anything else going on but me? That's a problem. Because listen, unless you're a super fucking control freak, I like, that's a problem to me. That's just a red flag. I want a woman who has other things going on. Oh, this is your day. Go to the gym. Go do what you got to do. Be active. There needs to be an element of, something to you. Right? But that's the problem. A lot of y'all think that you got to be, a woman has to build their lives around you in this day and age. You got to build your life around the woman. It's not the case anymore. Y'all got to both build something or come to the table with something. It's a different world now. But let's watch her talk about sex.
Honest. Why wouldn't I want to climax every time I have intercourse? Just like you want to climax when you have intercourse. And I was accused of being like a man. Not in my, this is years ago. And I knew that wasn't going to work, child, because it's not only about you.
Well,
what do you think about that?
Well, so when I go to LA, I'll be talking to sexologists. Shampoo Dream. There's a lot that men don't understand about sexuality. Most guys, you ask them what the Kama Sutra is, they don't know what it is. They don't know anything about tantric sex. They don't even know that. You couldn't even show them the anatomy of a vagina, and they can understand parts. Just weren't taught. So, and, if you know what you're doing, you should have as much orgasm. You're multi-orgasmic. You can have more than we can.
That's right.
So the point is,
I won't even let him finish that point because listen, this basically exposes a few things. It exposes a few things. First of all, Nikki and Kevin Samuels just exposed Fresh and Fit. I'm going to say it again. Nicki Minaj and Kevin Samuels just exposed Fresh and Fit. They exposed Rollo Tomasi and some of these other manosphere dudes that don't believe that women's orgasm matters. So next time you want to wonder why your chick is cheating on you and you over here thinking that a woman's orgasm doesn't matter, aka Myron Gaines, that's going to be a big problem. Women care about sex just as much as y'all do. That's it. This is part of when we talk about keeping a relationship together, keeping that interest, your dick game has to be good. A lot of you dudes out there, let's just face it, you got weak dick game. Not only that, you got weak dick discipline. So with the weak dick discipline and the weak dick game, what does that spell? Absolute catastrophic disaster. Why? Because y'all out here now thinking with your little head, and then when your little head wins out, you don't understand how to freaking basically deal with situations when they arise. That's what happens. Y'all gotta learn this shit, man. Learn how to, y'all gotta learn your dick game. A woman's cum matters. All right? Or orgasm come. A woman's orgasm matters, people. All right? It matters. You got to learn this shit. A lot of you young guys out there thinking just because you got a pole and all you got to do is stick it and, run the motor a couple times, you think that's going to go. That's not how that shit works, dog. That's not how that shit works. Girls don't even get off like that. Real talk. Like a lot of that penetration shit, girls don't even get off like that. Like there's some girls out there, like they will get off. They will get off without even you having to penetrate. No, that's real talk. But a lot of y'all don't know that. So this is part of when we're talking about the conversation between men and women. This is the kind of conversation we need to be having. All right. I'm not even going to go deep on that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm crazy. But listen, that to the extent was pretty much what they talked about, right? So they had a pretty decent conversation. And this is the part of it where a lot of people were kind of losing their minds too as well, because some of them said, well, Kevin Samuels didn't really go hard enough. And, they were saying, oh, Nikki crushed Kevin Samuels. Nikki destroyed him and things like that. No. None of that happened. They had a great conversation. And for those of you great value red pill stands out there talking about, oh, Kevin Samuels, his stream, her stream. All right. It was Nikki's stream, and Kevin Samuels made a move to get in there, and that's it. All right. And it was probably the smartest move he could make, because this could potentially lead into something more. He made that move, and Nikki admitted that she watches his content and wanted to talk to him. So that's something that's huge, because what that tells you is that a lot of people are watching. A lot of celebrities are watching and now are paying attention, not only to just guys like Kevin Samuels, but to the space, right? And then the space as a whole. So when people say, hey, does this have mainstream appeal? Does it not have mainstream appeal? I would think differently. I think that this is starting to really get to a point where we're getting somewhere great, right? But that the message really get across, and that's what we need to have the conversation about, right? Because that's another thing that, like, people were saying, well, hey, I mean, we can say all she want, but Nikki was saying all this stuff like, well, women have to, do stuff for them, and, that was totally wrong. What do you mean women have to build themselves up and be themselves? What are you talking about? No, it's got to be for the benefit of the men, right? So let's pay attention. Let's see what else. So what I'm going to play is the stream that happened right afterwards, right after Kevin Samuels. All right, because you guys, over here, dukendon, we give you the full picture. All right, we got to give you the full picture for a full breakdown. So let's go ahead and get into it. Nikki is going to talk to one of her friends, all right, and they're going to further get into what she was trying to allude over with Kevin Samuels, and they're going to break this down. And for you guys who are going to be watching, this is going to be an opportunity for you to see what women of today's time, what they're really thinking. All right, and how they're really thinking, how they feel. And now, hopefully, y'all will understand where we're coming from when we're saying that this shit, that the whole back to traditionalism you guys are trying to bring, it's not going to happen. And a lot of these women are just going to see you as selfish dudes. So let's go ahead and play the clip. I'm going to skip.
Very selfish. It's about them getting theirs, and that's all they care about. So I want to talk about that. Lie. And I put this on everything in my life. My whole life, a nigga gotta make me come. I don't give a fuck. You gotta make me come. And if you don't, I'm my mouth is crazy.
Hold on. Time out. Is it me or is something wrong with this broad's eyes? Am I correct? Hold on. Hey, is it me or something wrong with her eyes? That shit is tripping me out, dog. Like, what is happening here? That is not normal. That is crazy. Hey, if this bitch turned into a vampire, I'm done with the stream. What is happening right now? If she turned into a vampire, I'm gone. I don't know what is. Yo, this is turning dark and shit. Like, what is happening, bro? Oh shit. Oh, we don't have sound. Okay, let me rewind it back. Let me rewind it back. Hold up. But hey, hold up. Is it me though? Or she look like a damn vampire? Yo, what is happening? All right, let's play this. Y'all didn't really miss much. Hold up. We'll start it right here.
No look on your face except for a happy look and ride that dick.
That's not my question.
Oh.
Can y'all see me?
I can see you very well, beautiful girl.
I just woke up. No, I want to talk about, we got to do Queen Radio because I want to talk about these men and if y'all feel like they are selfish or not. I'm back out here a little bit, so I just want to know what people have to say about that because I feel like a lot of men are very selfish. It's about them getting theirs and that's all they care about. So I want to talk about that.
Lie. And I put this on everything in my life. My whole life, a nigga gotta make me come. I don't give a fuck. You gotta make me come. And if you don't, my mouth is crazy. Any nigga will tell you my mouth is crazy. If a nigga don't make me come after it, I'm gonna make him feel like shit. You understand? So you better keep your thing in your pants. Don't come over here with no clown shit. You understand? Period.
What is this? That so I don't even know how this is.
I know. I've been playing with I could, swoop it off.
I don't even know how this is.
Oh, it's a filter.
Yes,
this shit, girl.
Overall, being out
thinking
here
it's about them.
Yes, and I want to know what's up with that.
They think it's about them because females need to stop getting at each other and coming at each other. And so these men, they start feeling like, it's all about them because they never really have consequences in the real world because people always sitting there waiting to welcome them back with open arms after they do dumb shit and always trying to attack, other women, you know what I'm saying? So they feeling like, you know what I'm saying? No.
And women getting a kick out of attacking each other, breaking.
So before they go into other women, I'm letting y'all know what they were thinking, like how they really think. They really think it's because women are going back and forth at each other and men are thinking it's about them. And to a certain extent, they do have a point. Right? Because the back and forth that they go, listen, I'm going to explain some shit to you and it's going to get real fucking meta, but I want y'all to pay attention real quick, right? Because if you think about it, the back and forth, what she's saying is to women, and when women go back and forth and why the men think it's about them is because the men that they're going back and forth against are the dudes that they're the high value dudes that they're dealing with, or the guys in the 1% or whatever these guys like to put together, right? So the guys who aren't getting any, because we're not going to say that Nikki's right in this situation because she doesn't get it, but the guys who are looking at it, who aren't those guys in the 1% in the marketplace or whatever it is, right? They're the ones who are looking at these women who are complaining about the men who are, treating them wrong and going back and forth with other women. Like, oh, why y'all complaining about these dudes that you're dealing with, but y'all pick them? So when the women look at the men, right, who are complaining about that, they're like, oh, why are you guys attacking us? Well, the problem is, and this is why we need to have conversation, is women, you're ascribing to all men the few that you're dealing with, right? You think that the same guys that you're dealing with, the guys that you would find attractive to you, represents all men. And what all men are saying is, no, that's not the case. That the men that you're screwing with that are messing y'all heads up, right? The ones that Rolo calls Chads and Tyrones, right? These guys, they're the ones who are doing it. Why are you choosing these men? Right? And it's your fault you're choosing these men. And the women aren't seeing it that way. They're seeing it as like, no, it's you guys, right? You guys are the problem. That's why if you think about it, pay attention. When we watch Fresh and Fit and they ask the women these certain questions about men and whatnot, right? And eventually he breaks it down to them like, oh, you guys are all choosing the same guy, right? Because it is true. You guys are chasing this after the same dude. And when you look at the same dude, you would think that all men are having sex, but it's not like that. Most guys don't even know how to have sex. Let's just be real. They're not having sex like that. They're not getting boxed like that. It is what it is, right? So when you ascribe all of that, all the pain and the issues you're dealing with from a few men to all men, that's where the problems start, because all men starts to feel attacked and then they retaliate back. But then you start to feel attacked because you're like, no, we're not in the wrong because we have our experience. And you're right. You do have your experience. But when the guys are talking about the element of choice, you got to understand there are different types of men out there. So I think this is exposing a lot, but this is very interesting. KS, thank you for the $5 super chat. Woo, baby. Jerry Springer, although trash TV, is compared to FNF and others. That's true. That's true. They have become the Maury show or the Maury Povich of the YouTube manosphere space. That's essentially what they have become. The Great Bill Podcast, shout out to you. I'm out. Knicks want that Ultra Instinct D. Super Saiyan Blue here. Need some training. LOL. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Hey, y'all go sub the Great Pill Podcast, man. Does good work. Does good work. Let's continue.
Up homes, doing foul shit to each other. That shit is not cool and not okay.
Why do women get so much joy and gratification out of seeing other women hurting?
Now we going to a place. You sure you want to go here right now?
But I always say that, like, it is true. They'll be so happy when they see somebody's relationship, something happening, and it's like, stop it, stop fucking acting like any of y'all relationship is perfect. Y'all see time and time again, people get up here every day and they front and stunt for y'all and posting them dumbest shit that don't mean shit, and then behind closed doors they broken hearted. Stop. Nobody, you don't have to laugh at another woman pain to feel good.
No, you don't. And
they're being very honest here. There's no man in a room right now, and they're being very honest here. They're letting you know that, hey, the biggest harm right now to women are women. That's what this mean. Listen, you can't say Kevin Samuels, you can't say anything. This is Nicki Minaj and her friend, and they're just them talking. All right, so, and they know the BS they deal with other women backstage. They know the catty behaviors. They know all that. And on their level, it's probably 10 times worse. You see what I'm saying? So when we're talking about all these different societal constructs and all these different things, you got to understand where a lot of that's coming from. That's y'all. If we're going to solve the problem, women have to stop infighting amongst each other when it comes to these some of these men. And you guys have to recognize how to choose better men. And then you realize that the guys you're dealing with were really trash. They really were. But you got to come together and talk about that. You got to have conversations like this. You got to be honest. But that's essentially what it is. This is open, honest conversation. And here's the thing with the guys, right? If we stop fighting amongst each other, right? And we stop using that's why when I tell y'all, like, talking about women the way y'all talking about women is it's not going to help y'all be successful at all. It's not. Because all we're doing is giving women power that realistically, if we say as men that we have, why are we still talking about them the way we're talking about them? It is what it is. And you always have to understand that's the truth. When you read books like The Rational Male and all these different stuff, literally they're geared to keep you here. Originally, all y'all supposed to read about this stuff, understand a little bit about the nature, and then get the hell out of this space and going about your business. You're not supposed to be here long-term, continuously talking about women, the toxic nature, even to the point that we're looking at the TikToks and social medias of other women talking crazy, right, and making themselves look bad, and use it as an extra fuel to keep that shit going. Oh, this is proof. This is what I said modern women were. Aha! So the problem comes from the destruction that's happening within on both sides of the aisle. We're both toxic on the inside, and we have to cleanse that. Hey, we doing our best to do that over here. All right, we talking about all these fake and frauds and all these goddamn gurus that are usually using this stuff to make money off of men's pain. We're calling that shit out and we're cleaning this stuff up. All right, and some of y'all women, we not got to do y'all jobs because we got to call out the likes of Cynthia G and some of these other ratchet females that are out here spewing this hatred towards black men. These are the kind of cancers that need to go in order for us to have real and upfront conversations, period. I don't give a shit what any one of y'all says. If you think that these people are valid enough to keep having these conversations in this space, it's not even worth it, because these are the kind of folks that you can't even really have conversation with. Let's just be real. A lot of them, I'm not talking about that on the fresh and fit side, because at least they're willing to sit down with other people. I'm talking about these other people over here. A lot of them, they don't want to have conversations. They're set in their ways on the hatred they have for other men. And that's a problem, because you guys got to unwind that hurt. And then when we go deep into some of these guys, right, at least some of the fresh and fit guys in the stands of the world, the same thing applies. At least some of y'all be willing to listen, but y'all got to get out of that mentality, man. It's too damn childish. But these are two women sitting up here right after Kevin Samuels having this conversation right now. Women, I don't know what it is, but y'all got to stop hurting each other. This is what we've been saying.
Nowadays, people's mental health is really, you know, out here hurting themselves, mentally not right. You can't be laughing at other people's pain, because it's just as quick as you'll laugh at the next bitch, that'll be you. So you can't do that. And never say it won't happen to me, it can't happen to me. You don't know what can happen to you.
That's it. That's it. That's very true. That's very true. And I think, I guess as you get older, you start being able to step outside of the mess, and you start seeing things and you understand things so much more, you know, clearer, right?
Mm-hmm,
But I do think there's a culture of just a bunch of birds who you know, all they want to do is compete, you know, on social media. And so now I don't even think a lot of people, females, know who they are anymore.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? Like,
This is another thing. When we talk about the dangers of social media, we talk about the dangers of Instagram and some of these other platforms. They are being genuinely honest. Social media is filled with lies, because who are the best gender that like to dress things up, that look nice, even though the world's burning around them? Most women on social media do. All right, we've seen a post of y'all buying fake bags just to look rich. We've seen them. All right, why? Because y'all want to compete with other women. When y'all get these BBLs, spend all this money on these weird ass trips, right? You're going all these different places. It's not for the guy, it's for other women. And they're telling you that because these are queens of Instagram. These are queens of social media right now, letting you know what the game is. They know the 411 of y'all females. They know what y'all really out here. So y'all can sit there when the men say, oh, hey, I have a hinkling that y'all ladies are doing this for y'all. And y'all be like, oh, no, you can't tell us that. No. These are two women letting y'all know this right now. Y'all are doing this to compete with each other. Tia said, we know the birds that like to do this stuff on social media to compete against other women. They're admitting that right now. Y'all can't diffuse that because they are women. They're letting y'all know. The hurt, it comes from the inside. Women, y'all got to fix whatever it is going on with y'all. That inner envy, jealousy, y'all need to actually learn how to do that for real. Like, learn how to build real, genuine connections, or don't fuck with other women. It is what it is. But the hurt that's coming from and the other guys are feeling right now is the fact that you guys are hurting each other within and then pretending like you like each other. That's why you're so miserable. Y'all don't really like each other. You know that girl's going to fucking stab you in the back the first chance you get. You know she's going to go fuck your man. You know she's going to go do X, Y, and Z. So if you don't have that trust, that's fine. Go be by yourself. But ultimately, it comes down to integrity. It comes down to character. And y'all don't trust each other. The same with the dudes. The problem that we have in our community is from the inside. We have idiots on certain podcasts right now that spew garbage. They write books on garbage that keep guys in this negative mentality. Matter of fact, they go as far as to show them visuals by putting these same dudes, these females in front of them to validate the image that they already had, the negative image they already had about women, which fuels more hate and anger. That's the rot on the inside. That shit has to die. But at least I'm glad that we have two women, high status, who are being honest. This is the game. Women, if you want shit to change, y'all got to change. Stop talking about men and go build yourself to be something great. And fuck all these other dudes that are telling you women can't be high value, because they're stupid. They don't understand shit. They don't know anything. They're probably great value men themselves. Right? Some of these dudes who are sitting there talking that shit, it's all about control. For a lot of them, it is.
Like your identity is based on your relationship. Your identity is based on, oh, look at my heat. Stop.
And like you said, you made a point earlier. I watched this whole live. I was up watching this whole live. Kanye, like, "Ma, you listening to Nicki all that?" I was watching the whole live. But you said something that you was like, people on the TikTok about the successful men, and you was like, what about focusing on being a successful woman and getting your own and doing that? That's what I'm all about. And then we get to choose the type of nigga that we want to be with. We get to choose who we want to be with. And that's like what I've been saying a lot now. Like, fuck trying to get a nigga to wife us up or want to convince somebody why we're the one. Choose us. Like, let us be successful, get our paper, and let us fucking choose them.
Now, here's the thing. I think they have a point, right? Because we're going into a new age now where, like, real talk, it's not, because I keep going back to this, man, and I don't understand why the manosphere is predicated on this non-narrative, but it's like we're going into a new day now. Women really want to be out here. They really do, right? And some of them, they get to an age where they realize it's not worth it. They want to come back and do something else. And some of them, they really want that freedom. But ultimately, man, when we're saying that in order for women to be truly happy, they have to be up under a man or things like that. I think that's a wrong way to go about it. I think we know definitely we need each other for sure. And we understand who's going to be dominant in what relationship, no matter where you go. Because we already know that, listen, if you're a masculine man, you're a masculine man. And a woman's going to behave accordingly if you're a masculine man. It is what it is. That's what I'm saying when guys are trying to break down how a woman's supposed to behave next to a masculine man. It's just something that you feel. You know when a woman is in her place and you know when you're in your place because she draws that masculine out of you. So if you feel like a bitch next to your girl, chances are you just beta. Like, that's just pretty much what it is. It is what it is, bro. Just move the fuck along. But listen, man, we have to figure out how to basically work with both people doing something, because women want to go out there and they want to beat out themselves and want to do other things, and they feel like they want to have to go choose their man. And do they have a point? Yeah. We sitting there acting like women who go out here, get money, make all this stuff like that, they don't have options. They do have options. Like, some of them, they choose to be at the best, choose the best of the best, and that's fine, right? So what, they limit their options. They still have options. If any one point in time, if someone like even Oprah, yes, I clown her a lot too, but if it was someone like Oprah were to go down the street right now and look at a homeless dude, or not even a homeless dude, a dude making $35,000 a year, and say, "Hey, you want to be my man?" It's gonna be a hell yeah. It's gonna be a hell yeah. If she finds an ugly enough dude, right, and the dude makes enough amount of money, right, don't have to be $35,000 and maybe $200,000 a year, right, and the dude ain't got no options with the kind of girls he has, because y'all lie too. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this: just because you get great value and rich in your 30s, don't mean the women are gonna come. It comes from inside. You have to know yourself and you have to be confident. Just because you go ahead and reach the threshold of 30 doesn't mean women are going to be flocking to you. So there are guys out there who, by the time they get their little peak point, right, they don't understand how to get women because they don't have those skills. So, and if they're ugly, ain't shit you can do about it. But there will be a chick for you, right? If someone like Oprah wants to deal with you, right? I mean, what you want to do, bro? You want to be a billionaire or what? I mean, it's up to you. I mean, it's not like you a looker either. So it is what it is. It's just that I think that we have options for everybody. Everyone has options. It's just that it's what you decide to make available to you, right? It's what you decide to make available to you. I think that you can look at a rich, powerful, successful woman, and she can land herself a man. Easy. She can get herself a man. I mean, we look at, if we're going to look at celebrities, right? If we're going to go to celebrities, look at Rihanna. Rihanna's bounced from millionaire to millionaire to millionaire. She's old. She's getting up there in age. She's still doing her thing. Look at all these other celebrities out here that are doing their thing with all these, Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth Paltrow, old ass, shoving jade eggs up your box. Paltrow got married and she's old. Men still want her and she's rich. These are high status, high valued men. So I'm sorry, we can't keep painting these reality, especially for young men who aren't even actively in there. This is where I have a problem with. There's a girl out there for you. You just got to build yourself into that man. And then if anything else, as a man, it's even more advantageous for you because we like to tout that there are more women in this world than men, right? So that means there's more options for you to find your type of woman. That's it. So when we sit here and we have these bickering back and forth, y'all are not focused on a real thing that matters. And that's you. You. Who the fuck are you? When you wake up in the morning and you go to work or you go to do this thing called life, who the hell are you? Most of y'all right now, the reason why y'all doped up on medications and opioids because y'all are walking around like zombies not knowing who you are. You didn't take the time to understand your soul. Who the fuck is this person moving about? And you wonder why y'all are lost. Y'all know why y'all follow fake gurus, fake daddies, fake mommies. It's because y'all are lost. But you need to take that time to figure out who you are. Talking about women isn't going to do it. Talking about men and shitting on black men or shitting on black women isn't going to do it. Healing yourself, healing your hurt does. And don't worry about these broads on social media who are mad if you want to go date outside your race. Don't worry about these dudes who are mad if you want to go date zaddies. Who gives a fuck? You're a human. Go live life. You only got one of it. Understand who you are. Understand that soul. And we got all these goddamn digital distractions that are keeping us from understanding that truth. Man, like she's right. We got this whole thing all twisted up. In order for this shit to change, we had to start having conversations, people. We really do.
Bingo.
That's it.
Bingo.
That's it.
And a nigga know when you walk in a room, the type of female he looking at when it's the type of woman that walk in the room that can have any man she fucking want, just because of her aura, just because of her vibe. It doesn't need, people think everything is about money. But even the same way we look at men, men can look at women and see potential and see ambition. It's people, you know what I'm saying? When we was in the hood or whatever, dudes could look at us and see, oh, this one gonna go somewhere. This one is different. So they.
And this is the other side that I don't see women talking about, and I don't even see other guys in the manosphere talk about. Guys look at women and they see potential too. And sometimes the woman doesn't want to live up to that potential that you see in her. That's fine. She's not the right one. But guys can see a potential in a woman too. It's not, they're saying it themselves. We've turned all this stuff about money. This whole high value concept is all about money. Networks, power. Who do you got? When did it stop being about character? When did it stop being about integrity? When did it stop being about discovering who you are as a man, who you are as a woman, what real masculinity is, what real femininity is? When did it stop being about that and start being about, well, young men are going to find it hard because, you know, when they're young, they can't make money to go ahead and find themselves a wife. Why does it have to be that? If you want to use that same example, back in the day, there were young men who were broke and still making money, or not making money. We're still finding wives. I know brothers right now who are married and they struggling in their marriage because they broke, but they still happy. So is that wrong? Is that off? I knew guys around my age when I was 19, when I got married, and they were around my age and they got married, and they were broke just like I was. Are they not part of the statistic? And these were people right next to me, bro. I grew up with them. Dated similar chicks. Got them both knocked up. So you can't tell me that a man, in order to start a family, in order to be with a woman, has to have money, has to be in a situation where he needs to be in his 30s. That's just a barrier to entry. And y'all know me already. If you don't know by now, allow me to introduce you. I go for the throat for whatever I want. I go right for the jugular. I'm not sitting here to sell y'all anything. Everyone over here who are trying to sell y'all on the age, who are trying to sell you on the high value, who are trying to sell you on the money, who are trying to sell you on all these different requirements, all of a sudden there needs to be requirements, monetarily speaking, in order to go date. That's just obstacles that will be placed in your way. And winners go for the jugular. They go past all the different barriers. Matter of fact, we hop through all that bullshit and we still find what we want. That's why I tell y'all need to learn how to be winners and stop being or listening to these pushers, these sellers. And to be fair, I'm not saying that's Kevin Samuels. I'm not saying that some of these other guys, we all know some of these guys who are real pushers in this community. We already know these real pushers. They ain't go 2 minutes without asking you for a cash app. All right, we already know them. You can't get 2 minutes worth of value without asking you for money. That's what these guys are, all right? I'm not saying it's Kevin Samuels because he's actually getting people married out here. So let's just be fair right now. Y'all ladies, let's just be fair. He's producing results. He's actually one of the other guys that's producing results in this space. Until somebody else, April Mills Mason, come out with something talking about people getting married, I'll listen. But there are a lot of sellers in this space. There are a lot of them. And the selling is hope. That's what it is. And y'all know my stance on hope. It's an expectation. And just like all expectations, you will be disappointed because that's just what it is. You can't expect something from someone, especially if it's a human being. You can't expect shit from human beings. We're human beings. We make mistakes. When you start putting expectations on people, you'll start opening yourself up for disappointment. Stop hoping on people and just do your own thing like Nikki said. Go worry about yourself. Let's play a little bit more. All right, KS, shout out to you for the super chat. He said, my family said keeping things inside is not good for the soul. It's not. But you know what? We lost the sense of communities. We've lost the sense of true friendship, families. We've lost all of that. People find it easier to vent on social media than it is to basically talk to a friend. Social media is the new counselor. Social media is the new psychologist. Kevin Samuel says, go to therapy. I think women have found it. I think both women and men have found it. And it's social media. If y'all don't believe me, how many times y'all seen people when they just out there on social media just put something up where it's like, this seems like you talking about killing yourself. You should call your dad. You should call your brother. You should call your best friend. Because me, if I know I'm feeling off, I know at least 3 people right now off the rip I can call and tell them my personal situation, and they can come out with something. They can come out with solutions that I can trust and follow. How many of y'all right now can say that about yourself? How many of y'all right now can say that you have that special someone that you can turn to in times of need? In times of struggle where you know that they're going to come and they will have your back. You call them at 3 a.m. and say, yo, hey, listen, man, I got some shit. I'm going to need some help. And they're going to follow through. A lot of y'all can't say that about yourselves because a lot of y'all haven't even spent time to build those relationships. Y'all sit here talking about women all the damn time. Y'all can't even build relationships with other people with your own gender. We in a situation right now where men can't trust other men and women can't trust other women, yet we're supposed to expect each other to be together. How are we supposed to learn how to talk to each other when we can't even talk to our own sex? There are no fathers in the home to talk to the sons, and mothers aren't unwilling to teach their daughters something. We need to change, and the change has to start from within. And charity begins at home. So we got to look at the homes. Look at the way they're structured. Not saying, and when these guys talk about single-parent household, miss me with that bullshit. Some of you dudes out here, I know for a fact, will wife up a single mom. So let's just stop. But for a lot of you single moms out there, to help not put your kids in this statistic, get them around fatherly role models. And it doesn't have to be the kid's father. And I don't really necessarily agree of, when some of these guys like Myron or Kevin talk about, you need to go back to the baby daddy. Like, why? Like, why? It clearly wasn't a situation to work. Why you got to go back there? I wouldn't even, I'm going to tell you this right now. Like, I love my baby moms, but I'm not going to go people. We're not going to be back together. Trust me, that's not going to happen. So I don't think that's a viable solution. But I do think that they should learn how to get other male role models around them, good male role models, whether it's a brother, uncle, stepfather, it is what it is. And Kevin Samuel says that. It's a thankless job, which it is. But I think that if we can get males, because I grew up in a single-parent household too. My mom took us here when shit got bad in Nigeria, and we came up here, all right? And I know what it's like to grow up without having a fatherly role model. Luckily, I had my uncles, and that made all the difference. Like, even just having my uncles come around every once in a while, that shit helped a lot than not having a father. So that's very important. Get your kids around fatherly role models or masculine role models. I won't even say fatherly, masculine role models. That's going to help the situation greatly because kids need that bonding. And also with your daughters, like, y'all, like, you got to straighten up. And the first thing, you got to start with you. Be the ideal woman you want to be, whether it's a successful one, someone who's outgoing, someone who's got shit taken care of to figure it out. Be that woman. And if that's something that truly makes you happy, then you have to model that for your child because they're watching you. And when they grow up, they're going to replicate every single thing they've seen. They've seen you do and you behave. If you're out here treating men weird and wild and screaming and yelling, that's how they're going to grow up to emulate because they're going to think that's right. When Nikki talks about me being mean is the only way I feel like I can keep a man around, she's learned that from her mama or somebody in her family. Somebody in her family did that to other men in front of her growing up and she thought that was normal. So if you want your daughters to change, you have to be that model. if you don't like the state of how women are, the cattiness, the back and forth, you need to start leading your life with integrity. Everybody has to start worrying about themselves. Self-awareness is key this year. Worry about your goddamn self. It's not that hard, people. But it's interesting to see where this is gonna go, right? And here's the thing, because we're gonna go over some announcements right now, right? And this is very important because we're gonna talk about where the state of all of this is headed, where the state of all of this is going right now. Okay, and do you think that Kevin Samuels is actually gonna, he's mainstream, or is he not mainstream? I personally think he is. Anyone else in the manosphere that's saying he's not, listen. Take it with a grain of salt at this point. That is what it is. They're gonna, if they keep going down the path that Kevin Samuels is going, he's gonna make it mainstream. Fresh and Fit, oh, they mainstream all right. It's just not gonna be the kind of mainstream attention they want. However, they do have DJ Academics on their side, so I'm sure that with enough time and influence, he'll pull them away from Roll Tomato, and they'll be able to get something going, or at least twist their image a little bit. And he's really good at that. So we're trusting he's gonna turn the Fresh and Fit boys around. All right, but Kevin Samuels, here's the best way. First of all, get my likes up, folks.
Oh, hell no.
Get my likes up right now, because I'm gonna let y'all know how, if Kevin Samuels wants to really be successful in mainstream, I'm gonna let you know how he's gonna do it. All right. And if anybody else say this shit right now, they got this shit from this platform. I'm gonna tell you this because no one else has said this. I've looked on every single platform before I made this video on this date. So what y'all about to hear, you about to hear from this platform first. But I'm gonna need you to get my likes up.
Oh, hell no.
Get my goddamn likes up right now. Let's do it, folks, because here's what's gonna happen. Here's what's going to happen, and here's how Kevin Samuels is going to remain relevant in mainstream, all right? He's going to have to, all right, y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? He's going to have to come up with a show, all right? A platform type of show, an interview style type of show where he basically does celebrity counseling. You heard it right. Celebrity counseling, where all these high-value women, all right, can come up on here and talk about their issues, their genuine relationship issues with someone like Kevin Samuels, and someone like that probing deep. Now, Kevin, you're gonna have to be a little bit more tougher than you were with Nicki Minaj. I'm just saying, brother. I'm not saying you weren't. I'm just saying, for entertainment value, you gotta, buff it up a little bit. But I think you get some of these miserable celebrity women out here spewing this junk. You get them on the show. You got the sub. You got the pull. You get them on the show. You have them really just kind of unwind and talk to it, kind of like you're a counselor walking them through things, right? You give us some of that image consulting shit that you tell us all about. All right, we see that skill on display. The women see all these high value, high status women openly telling you about what's going on. They see the soft skills that you're putting on them, man. Listen. What that's going to do is going to change the game for a lot of young women out there. I'm not talking about these old broads you're talking about or talking to or talking however you guys want to call it, right? I'm talking about you have a chance to actually reach a lot of young women. And who knows, bro? You might counsel your way all the way up to the top. And y'all know what I mean? I'm talking about Kim Kardashian. Imagine someone like Kevin Samuels sitting across from a woman like Kim Kardashian talking about like this shit with Kanye and why she or her fucked everything up, right? What was going on? The whole issue of being a single mom, the whole issue of interracial. You could combine all of that right there in the one podcast that would explode. I'm telling you, if you want to keep mainstream relevancy, this is the kind of tact and this is the kind of angle you kind of want to play with this shit. With the whole Fresh and Fit nonsense, like that kind of style is not going to work. It's not going to work because you're going to have to sit down with these kind of women and you're going to have to treat them in a different way. We saw how you treated Asian doll. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. You need to learn social cues and how to read people, and Myron doesn't get it, and Fresh gets it a little bit, but Fresh misses balls on some things, man. It is what it is. But that's the way he goes. Celebrity counseling. I think that's where Kevin Samuels' wings are really going to goddamn shine, baby. That's where it's gonna be. You get a bunch of celebrities. It could be A-listers, C-listers, B-listers, right? I mean, now he's Hollywood. He's gonna be in that crowd, but he does that. Get these women in there. They talk about their issues, right? Even have situations where now you're pulling in celebrity guys, right? And they're having their conversations. This could be something that could be, listen, really, really great. It could be something great, or we don't do this, and it turns into something else. Listen, I vaguely remember Kevin Samuels, you talking about having a physical show, and you're actually doing that with some of these women. However, I think that you can go further than Instagram women. I think you can really take this to a whole new level if you start figuring out a way to start networking and getting your way into some of these circles. You already paid attention. You see what Nicki Minaj just said, and this is to you, Kevin Samuels, if you're watching, right? Nicki Minaj has already said she's been wanting to watch your shit for a long, or not watch it, come on your shit for a while. Maybe she hasn't found the time, whatever that may be. But you know that some of these girls, these celebrity women and their friends are watching. They're paying attention. And this right here, the conversation y'all had, it went well. That was like the first kind of shining into. That's like the equivalent of Fresh and Fit with Asian Doll. And they blew up that bag.
Oh, hell no.
They blew the fuck up out of that bag, man, and it's done. All right. But with this right here, and the kind of tact, especially appealing to someone who's even higher on the scale, even higher than Brittany Renner. I mean, if we're talking about Nicki Minaj and then Brittany Renner, it's child's play. So you're able to work your way onto that platform. You handled yourself properly. I think figuring out a way to get some more of these celebrity women who are either toxic or even who are even displaying a lot of these relationship Instagram type of situations that they post all the time that Nikki's talking about. You can network with them, have them on a show, do what you need to do. That's going to be great content. And it's just, it literally, man, it's going to really turn the way people see the manosphere and how people really, perceive this space, right? It's going to go from being a bunch of dudes who complain about women to actually a bunch of guys who are willing to step to the table and have conversations with women, even women that perceived as toxic on a nationwide scale. And I think we have a chance to really change some things. But you guys, maybe I'm freaking wrong, all right? Some of you guys in the chat probably say, dude, you're wrong. You're wrong, okay? This is not going to happen. Kevin Samuels doesn't have the balls to pull it off. And some of you guys will say, oh, no. Right? Well, maybe I'm wrong, all right? Maybe I am. But a mad kid dream. I guess it is what it is. So with that being said, guys, you know what time it is. You know. Give my likes up right now. Yeah. Give my likes up. Go. That's right, baby. I'm always yelling. Stephen A. Smith in the building, baby. Catch you guys on the next stream, guys. I will see you later.